Welcome to Gamesthetic, episode 117. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day today. Whether if you're watching this live alongside of us at the multiple platforms we're live on right now, or watching after the fact, or whatever the case is. I got the boys here with me. Boys, how we doing? How we feeling?
Me and John just had the same realization of why the heck there's something on this script.
I texted you about it, bro.
I just remember nothing like this.
Boys, how we doing? How we feeling?
We're doing good.
We'll see. It's all weird right now.
It's just going to be one of those days, and that's okay. That's okay. No, for today, we are going to be chatting about Piece Odyssey. Me and Zach have both picked it up. I've dumped in a decent, okay amount of hours, so. Zach's done about 3, so we'll just kind of give general impressions. I feel like I have enough of a sample size to give a good general impression, because I already gave one to Josh, and now Josh is actually really excited to go pick up the game. So, that'll be one game he'll play on his PlayStation 5 that hasn't been touched in forever. Shout out to that.
Also, I'm going to talk about Gatewalkers, and I didn't tell Alex that.
No, I knew you were going on a rant. I just didn't know what it was going to be about. I knew it was a rant involving alphas.
I've been playing Gatewalkers, but I want to rant about the people that have been reviewing the game.
So we have a spicy rant coming, so look forward to that. Also going to be chatting about Ubisoft and kind of the state where they've been for a while and where we think they could potentially go from here. And then also just a little quick Halo conversation, because it is episode 117. Shout out to that. That's why it's on the script.
Oh, you text me earlier
let me stress this.
saying you wanted like Master Chief in the thumbnail. I don't know if you told me why or not.
It was already on the script. Don't look at it.
We
I
went
know.
over that like 2 minutes ago.
I know.
I'm gonna be honest. You sent me that text, and I read it. I went, sort of weird. He wants to know a Halo thing. Oh well.
Well, look, I'll be very honest. Even though it is episode 117, if it wasn't for the fact that we kind of have a slow week, that wouldn't have been on there. I was just trying to fill a gap, okay? That's literally, I'm just trying to fill a gap.
It was the moment you said episode 117, Zach just sees me go,
oh, I got it.
And literally, right before that, I was looking at the script and went, I saw 117, went, oh. And then John had that same, I was like, yes!
Oh, got it. Oh, man. All right, let me run through a couple things. Number 1, thank you for everyone that's been checking out our TikToks at Sparky3Official. You can go give us a follow. John is... I threw John out to die.
I'm a warrior on the front lines.
Shout out to the Starfield TikTok I put out. I threw John out there to just get torched. And it's funny because even John just said that. He's like, yeah, whenever I saw that you put that one up, I'm just like, oh, man, I'm about to get destroyed. Oh, man. But, yeah, go give us a follow at TikTok. We'd 100% appreciate that. And, honestly, the shorts on YouTube doing really well is also, who would have thought the Power World one would have popped off on both channels? Like, I mean, that's cool. Power World is a really exciting game to look forward to. And then also even the summertime rendering one that I just made on the spot. That one's done really well. Had a lot of conversation on that one. That was pretty sick, including a guy that's just like, this sounds cool. I'm going to watch it. And he got back to me, like, later on that night. He's like, I watched all of it. I had nothing to do. I'm like, damn, talking about dedication, my guy. So shout out to that. Then also shout out to Rogue releasing their new can flavor, Black Cherry Lemonade. You can use our referral link down below and pick some up. Me and Zach have both bought some, and I'm very excited. Are you gonna get that one?
I'm gonna use my referral link of taking one of y'all's cans.
That's fair.
To try it before I commit to it.
That's fair. That's my
That's usually
kind of
your flavor. It's not usually mine, so I want to try it first.
That's fair. Yeah, anything cherry, especially black cherry, and then anything like lemonade mixes, like that's my shit. So I'm very excited for this one. Use the referral link down below. You can use promo code SPARK3 to get 10% off and show us some extra support. We appreciate that, as well as go check out Agent Inc. and pick up a jersey. Any update on your jersey?
It came in earlier.
Oh, okay, cool. You should have brought it. I want to see it.
I was going to, and I forgot.
Okay, fair enough. I need to get my other jerseys on order. When are you going to get some jerseys on order?
Yeah, about that.
You just bought a $200 game. I don't want to hear that from you.
I buy tons of random crap that's way overpriced.
That's true. Next thing you can do is buy a jersey.
I don't know
or I could go buy another $500 game for my collection.
I hate you.
I don't know what happened. I wasn't sitting over coughing at all. We started, and it won't
You literally,
stop.
like, as I hit the music, you start coughing.
It won't stop.
It is what it is.
It was the moment when you walked in here and you two coughed in sync. I knew the day was over.
That is true. That is true. Me and John did cough in sync.
And
that was the moment.
I was almost just, as soon as I heard you go into it, I was about to be like, cut that out.
All right, I'll turn down the music now. We can go ahead and get in some conversations for the day. Oh, it's not.
That wasn't off.
Now it's off.
As it runs for the rest of the stream.
No, it's off this time. I
Oh,
swear.
that's what I do when I'm in charge of the
Yeah, it's just like it's you got the knob down, but the music's playing. That's happened a couple times in AniMan Plus.
And I just turn it off because I'm like, I don't know if this is working.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Damn, $500 on a game. Shout out to Becca in chat. What game was the $500 one that you're looking at?
Well, I've bought several.
That's true.
There's
has.
the
That's
first
true.
Persona on PlayStation 1 complete in box. The Adventures of Tronbon, which is also on PlayStation 1.
No idea what that one is.
It is a spin-off of the Mega Man Legends games. So it's a 3D game.
Okay. Man, I would love to have both Mega Man Legends. That'd be really cool.
I mean, they're both cheaper than the Adventures of Tronbon.
Do you need a cough drop, bro?
probably.
Okay.
You got one.
Yeah.
And there was one more I bought recently, which I can't think of right off the top of my head. Oh, Persona 2,
Yeah, that's right. You did get Persona 2. Yeah.
which wasn't 500, it was 450.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's a massive difference.
That's $50, man.
I mean, still the most expensive one I bought is still Fire Emblem Path of Radiance at 300, close to 300. I still haven't played it yet. Need to play that. But
That's nothing.
I have Engage. So, I mean, Engage is
You
guys,
need to engage with past Fire Emblems.
I do. I know. I do need to sit down and actually play Path of Radiance, but we got Engage coming out, man. That's my focus is Engage.
I could take your GameCube and Path of Radiance and play it before you would play it.
That's not inaccurate.
He could then pass to me, and I'd still play it before you ever played Alan Wake.
That's also not inaccurate. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and jump into some conversation. So, One Piece Odyssey. It's been a little while since we had a One Piece game. What was the last, besides the Warriors titles? What was the last one? Is World Seeker?
No, yeah, World Seeker's actually right, yeah.
Because, I mean, the only other thing we've had since, I think, is what? Warriors 4?
And
came out, but,
previous
you know.
one before that was back on PS3, which was like Red Seeker or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, World Seeker came out like, what? I think 2016. So, yeah, it's been a little bit since we've had a One Piece game that's not a Warriors title.
It's been any amount of time where we've had an actually good One Piece game.
That's also true. For obviously with Odyssey, the whole thing behind it is a turn-based RPG,
Yeah.
which turns some people off, turns some people on about it. Just depending on what you want out of a One Piece game. I've dumped about. I'm in chapter 2 now. Chapter 1 is actually pretty lengthy. You're almost done with it if you've defeated the Thunder Guardian, whatever. You're almost done with it. And chapter 2 brings you to Alabasta, because basically from this point forward you're going through basically their memories is essentially what's happening. So the general this game is it's an original story that Oda did write. He did all the art for it as well. Got a very nice art piece and loading screen. Very, very sick art piece. So he very much had his hand in this whole story about how the Straw Hats just come to an island and it's like, oh, let's go there, and then lots of wild shit starts happening with ice. Very flashy cinematic entrance. And then as they get further into this island after they wreck, because Sunny is currently sinking at this moment, and Brooke's body's at the bottom of the ocean as well. Shout out to Brooke, just kind of floating around. They all lose their powers.
Well, they don't lose their powers. No. They're fighting a fire class, because this is a nice touch that I appreciate about the game, because it starts everyone out at level 40.
Yeah, I mean, it starts them out as you would expect, though.
And you level up like a regular RPG during this point.
Yeah.
But once you get past the prologue and they do all this and they start to go look further in the island and they fight a fire colossus, and when it's taken down, they're all sort of like, oh, okay, and they're distracted. Then this blue hair girl comes up and just touches everyone without asking and yeets their memories away.
That's a way to put it. It's accurate.
She rolls up, touch. Luffy dodge. Huh. Oh, my hat. Touch. And they're like, okay. Confetti!
Basically.
And then suddenly they all forget how to do shit.
Yep.
And just like that, she whisks away. Fire Colossus comes back to life to end them. And random dude with guns shows up and he's like, ha ha ha! Block fire. It can't reach his hair. Let's go.
Right. Also, the game is on Xbox One, Series, PS4, and PS5 and PC.
Yes.
Not on Switch though. But yeah, so it starts off where it kind of knocks you back down to level 1. Very quickly.
Not kind of. You lose everything.
Yeah, I mean you do.
Even those levels you got from the prologue, they are gone.
Yeah, I mean all of it's gone. You're down to level 1. You have to kind of work your way back up, and that's kind of the general premise of the game. Because once you get past chapter 1, you're basically going through all the Straw Hats memories, different portions in time of the One Piece story, as we've seen in all the marketing material. With Alabasta, we're gonna be going to Water 7 as well as others. We've seen other characters from these arcs appear. So, Rob Lucci will appear. Crocodile's gonna appear in the arc that I'm in right now.
At some point, and
Smoker's now appeared as well. But like when it comes to the main core gameplay, I gotta say I'm actually really impressed. I actually really enjoy how the battling is done. I will say, and this was my one complaint with Chapter 1, and thankfully my one complaint has now been squished. And my one complaint is that it was just like way too easy. Like even at level 1, kind of got knocked everything back down.
Yeah.
It was just way too easy. Like I saw where the battling could open up for such interesting strategy, with how all the placement is and basically the 3 different types of skill sets. Like I saw where the strategy could be really fun, but it was just way too easy. Getting to Chapter 2, it's completely different already. Like my first battle is completely different from every other battle I did in Chapter 1. Like, the first battle, like even using skills, it's like I'm just chipping away at a random guard. Like a guard, like no one even important. And I'm chipping away at them. So my one complaint with it about its difficulty, because there's not a difficulty setting, which was also a concern going into the game, is that there was no difficulty setting. Again, Chapter 2, it's already been squished, but like the general core gameplay of the battling, the turn-based mechanics, I actually really enjoy, where all the characters are divided into power, speed, and technique. And it just works in like a classic triangle, so it's like a grass, fire, water in Pokemon. It's just one beats the other, etc. And in the battle, you have 4 people in combat at one time. They're across the field, and they have X amount of enemies in like their direct field of view that they can focus on. It'll show it all on your sides. Like Luffy can attack these 3, maybe Robin can only attack this 1, maybe Sanji can attack these 2, and like Usopp has no one in his direct line of sight. But then he can move to someone else's spot and also assist them in theirs. And you can swap out seamlessly depending on strengths and weaknesses. So if Luffy's going up against technique enemies, you can quickly swap out to a speed user like Nami or like Usopp, and to have better effectiveness. And plus the different skills also do various things, where like one of Luffy's skills only works within his line of sight, and then some skills can work outside of his line of sight. So you can hit someone across the field that you're in, where Sanji's fighting. You can hit them as well. So like just the general core mechanic of the gameplay like that, where of how seamless it is, and just going through and just like, I see where as the game progresses and we get into more intense fights and stuff, I see where there could be a lot of interesting and fun strategy for the game. At least that's how that's how I've taken it so far. I've enjoyed the gameplay myself.
Can I re-break that down for you? Because
I mean, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I hit it pretty well.
Okay. John, how do you feel? Do you understand the combat based off how he said that?
I don't have a fucking clue what's going on.
So it's classic RPG fight style.
I'm just assuming it's a massive battlefield, and there's
not
like,
even close.
There's like 3 people here and like 3 people over here.
That's actually not very far accurate.
Okay.
That's not very far from accurate. Like
so
that's
I guess
pretty
my
close.
thing was you saying line of sight.
Yes, because it is the areas that they are in.
There you go, areas.
Yes,
not
the
line
areas.
of sight.
Yeah, it is the area, so their line of sight that they are in.
Not right.
It is in the areas that they are in. Yes.
You start a battle. There's most 4 people versus 4 people. It will randomly put you in up to 4 zones. If they're in the same zone, they can only attack people in their zone. But some characters have long range or close range skills. If you have a close range skill, you can only attack characters in your area. If you have a long range skill, you can then attack other areas without having to leave your area. You can't leave the area until all enemies are taken out of their area, and then they can move to other areas to assist, or they can just do long range even if they're there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about how you explained just really bugged me.
In my brain, the way you explained it's not far off from the way I explained it.
Okay.
That's a little easier.
I mean
digest.
that is easier to digest, but in my mind they're not. They're not different. Mine was just a lot more long-winded and complex.
Because I at this point I don't know what a battle looks like. I have a picture in my mind that's either very close to what it is or it's nothing like it, but it makes sense to me.
Like just picture a space like this studio. Like Luffy's here, got enemies there. Sanji's over there, and it got enemies there. I mean, that's the gist. Yeah, it's a little bit obviously bigger than this, but that's the general gist.
I'm gonna be honest. I hope the mechanics of the fighting expands more than what it's shown. Because I'm gonna be honest, I fell asleep during that Lightning Colossus battle because I was so fucking bored because I was on autopilot.
I mean, dude, that chapter 1, like, I'm not gonna lie, it was like, while again the gameplay was like, okay, this I can see where this can be cool, but just everything about that first chapter and just how easy it was, like, I'm with you. Like, I was just like, okay, yeah, this is just mind-numbingly boring.
It wasn't even the easy factor because I'm used to, especially one like this that has no difficulty, and it literally just says begin adventure. I figured there was going to be some sort of scale leap, but I'm just hoping for more with the mechanics because just with the bastings of the zones, the rock paper scissors fight style, the skills, and then adding in attributes or elements, however you want to describe it. I hope that expands a bit more in complexity because in terms of just RPGs, I went straight on iPod. As soon as speed up battle hit, I went right trigger. I just closed my eyes and hit A. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, once the speed up came, I definitely hit that too.
Because I literally fell asleep during that fight.
I mean, I don't blame you. Chapter 1 is not like the most.
The story itself has been somewhat interesting so far to grip me, but the actual fighting mechanics, besides having its moments with using the zones and ranges for characters and then everything, meh.
Right. Yeah, I mean, now that the difficulty's actually spiked up quite a bit for me in Chapter 2, I'm definitely having a lot more fun than I was in Chapter 1. Because for Chapter 1, like I said, it was just like I saw where it could be very interesting. And I saw where it could be very fun, but it was just so boring because I was just one-shotting everything. And it's just like, I'm with you. Just A. I did skills just to see what they look like.
So that's why I held off on buying this game, because initially I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. I'll play it. Why not?
Right.
And then as it got closer to the time it was actually coming out, I started thinking about it. I was like, well, I don't really give a shit about One Piece.
Fair.
So I'd be learning whatever story the game has for me. So if that's not compelling, at least if that's not super compelling to me, I'll be relying on the gameplay for it. And since it's a turn-based game, hopefully it's good, but other turn-based games I've played like around like an anime, specifically like the Fairy Tail game.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to play that.
The game was good because I liked the story. The battles weren't it's like they weren't super difficult, but they also weren't just like super easy necessarily.
Yeah,
it was like
right.
at least while you're playing through it, there's a decent like kind of difficulty curve. But it was, I knew it's like I could see a One Piece fan being able to go through this game the same way I went through that one, where I really enjoyed the game, but at the end of the day, the battle mechanic was just like it ended up getting to the point where it's like, well, clearly these are my best abilities for either single target or AoE. So I'm gonna do these right here every time, no matter what the enemy is. And that's why I held off on this, because I'm like, I don't know if this is something I like. If I don't care about One Piece, that's all I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah, I do appreciate though. One thing in the mechanics is just that it's just full XP share. Everyone, for the most part, gets the same XP.
Yeah,
there's some slight balance there because I have some characters who are just randomly leveling a battle before everyone else.
Right.
I don't know why, even though everyone's been part of the fights. So I don't know if they get a little bit more XP if they get final kill.
Mm-hmm.
Because it also doesn't really give you a good idea of XP numbers.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you got this much XP, but it doesn't show any XP bar for your character. It's just something like, they level up.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
always fun.
I'm like, cool. But I mean, if you're saying at least the fights in chapter 2 are a bit harder, I might stay awake, but I give no guarantees.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like once even just going up against a basic ass guard, like I was just chipping away at him, even using skills. Like I mean, it took me a couple minutes just to kill a guard. So I mean, the difficulty definitely is ramping up in just chapter 2. 'Cause I don't know, I just feel like the entire chapter 1 is just like, it's just here to hold your hand. You know what I mean? Let you get used to the mechanics.
Yeah, no, I feel that because
Yeah.
it kept telling me, "Don't go that way, stupid. They're over here."
Right. Yeah. No. It definitely holds your hand quite a bit in chapter 1, and then chapter 2 kind of turns you loose a little bit more. As you get into Alabasta and you're kind of exploring
So it's like
around.
a whole several-hour chapter of like teach you the game mechanics and
Well, not even-
then reset your level. Usually that's part of chapter 1 in these type of games.
Well, the prologue before the resets maybe half an hour to 40 minutes, depending on how much you're trying to explore, and they keep telling you, no, go this way. And it's not even just a text box of them saying, go this way. It's a whole cutscene of you running, someone else walking up and be like, no, they're this way. Oh, in cutscene, turns you around.
Oh, so it legitimately doesn't let you go that way. Oh.
I found 3 invisible walls in the prologue, 5 in chapter 1.
I think I would hate that.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean overall, I don't think it's a bad game. I really don't. It's still early. It's still early. We'll see.
I was about to say, I got no take
So
yet.
Yeah, I know
the
you
only
don't.
thing I've seen is I looked at the Steam reviews, which were very positive, but that's also to be. I wouldn't necessarily take that to heart too much because if you actually read the reviews,
Right.
not about the game at all.
I mean, I assume it's all just about One Piece fangirling, simping.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, that's about it. That was about 85% of the ones I saw.
Sounds about right.
Everybody giving it very positive reviews after seeing character models.
That sounds right.
Okay.
I will also say, in terms of like Metacritic scoring, I mean, it's gone higher than most One Piece games. I mean, it's not like a groundbreaking score. I think it ended about 75. That's still a lot better than most.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I definitely don't think it's a bad game. I haven't actually gone. I've seen other reviews pop up. Like I've seen like IGN's review pop up and stuff like that, and I haven't checked it out yet because I'm just still trying to experience the game myself. But I mean, I will say I'm actually looking forward to getting back on and playing it later. Gonna work on some talks after this though, but after that, play some more.
Does it explain any further the whole cube thing about putting cubes in people's skills?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It goes into more detail about that.
Okay.
Because like one of the things that leads you up to chapter 2 is going to be a lot of the cube shit. Because the cube shit's how they essentially go into their memories.
By the way, the whole cube thing is when they lose their powers, all their memories just become cubes.
Yeah.
And they're now just collectibles throughout the map. So you collect the cube, but you can't tell whose cube it is until you pick it up.
Yeah. You just pick it up, and then you can add those cubes to their skills and make their skills stronger, or their field skills as well.
And I'm be honest, you can most definitely miss cubes if you don't take a moment to actually pay attention.
Yeah,
and
and just
look.
kind of explore around.
And then it breaks it up more because all your companions you're traveling with of the Straw Hat crew, you can switch between them during the free roam, and they each can do something different in the free roam.
Yep. They also unlock forgotten skills.
The more we talk, the less likely John's gonna buy this.
I know. Well, he's not going to buy it anyway now. It's already done. That ship sailed. Would you say that ship has sailed?
It depends on how big of a sale it goes on later in the year.
All right, fair enough.
It's gonna go into a Steam
I
library.
was still interested in the game. It's just it wasn't one that I was rushing to pay
Right.
like $60 for.
Right. That's fair. Like I said, overall, though, I don't think it's a bad game. I'm curious to see where the story kind of goes and just, how the rest of the difficulty kind of continues to ramp up. Because, I mean, gameplay-wise, it's fine for me. I just want more difficulty. That's all I want. But anyway, you guys ready to move on?
Sure.
All right.
So while you guys were playing
Let's hit your rant.
One Piece,
Let's hit your
I'm
rant.
not gonna go on a rant immediately.
Oh, come
Because instead of buying One Piece Odyssey,
Yes.
I bought Gatewalkers.
Okay.
Which is
It's a bit of a hard game to describe because it's got several aspects from several different games going on. Essentially, what it is, it's a top-down, like survival-esque type game, like survival crafting type game.
okay.
But it's not like Ark or Rust or some of these other games where you're just in a zone. You have a hub that you go to, and you're just essentially doing quests for some of the people that are there because you're trying to stop the end of the world, essentially. So you're traveling to these different biomes and trying to rescue and do things. And along the way, you're walking around crafting, picking stuff up, and then gaining abilities to level up in the skill tree and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird game because it is that top-down perspective with like WSAD movement, and then there's constantly like enemies on the map coming after you while you're doing stuff, or like when you walk within their range, they come and attack you.
Okay.
But this is very much not an like a traditional ARPG game, say like Path of Exile, Diablo, something like that. The problem is, a lot of people bought the game anticipating that.
Oh.
They didn't. A lot of people bought the game anticipating that and not seeing like the survival crafting
tags
in it, and then they start playing it, and then they refund the game and then go give it negative reviews and complain about it because they didn't actually read what the game was. They just watched 5 seconds of a gameplay trailer.
Oof.
Which is also frustrating. This kind of goes into my rant a little bit, is just the fact that this game had an alpha. This game had an alpha several months back that I played, and like it's like there were quite a few people who played it back then, and I've seen people.
Is this
like
closed servers or?
No, this game's out now.
No, I mean.
Oh, the alpha?
No, like the actual gameplay. Because you're saying multiple people. So like, is it like
No, this
open hub?
It's an online game, but it's your own. Like you can invite people to play with you.
Just want to make sure.
But no, it's like because I was on like the community charts and everything back when the alpha happened.
Yeah.
And I had seen several YouTube videos and stuff of people that I watch that were playing it also. But yeah, like I had played back in the alpha, and I played it. I didn't play it a ton. I played it for like an hour or so, and I went, okay, I know what this game is. I'll wait for the release because it's exactly what I think it is now. I know what it is. And then the same people that played, like some of the same people that played in the alpha, have bought the game on release and then complained, saying that they're buying like an unfinished game because the game isn't drastically different from what it was. And I'm starting to wonder, what do people think alphas and betas are for? It's to test core gameplay mechanics.
Yeah.
True.
It's like you're not gonna get that much different from an alpha or a beta to the actual release. Or it's like some games that do that, they only change it so drastically because they release it and then everybody hates it. But like the negative feedback, or like the constructive feedback, I'll call it that, during the alpha was like movement feels kind of clunky, game feels a little clunky, but it is. But I mean, it's not a bad thing. This isn't a AAA game coming out.
No.
It's like this. I mean, it is what it is. But it's like people that like go through these alphas, betas, play the game, and then on release, it's the same game that they're playing, and somehow they've got it in their head that I was expecting AAA quality from this release from whatever the previous version I played was. I don't know where that mentality comes from. It's like I don't understand how people can think so much is going to change.
From the mentality, more or less probably comes from games that do these long.
Yeah, they're thinking of the early. I'm going to be in early access for 3 years,
right? Yeah,
and they'll play it in the first week, and then come back after 3 years of active in-game development.
Yeah, that's where that comes from.
Whereas they did an alpha for the game 6 months or so ago, and then now the game is released, where they've kind of finished out content for what they had, and they've already said they're planning more content coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like just going through some of those reviews and seeing the reaction of people just going off on it. One, for being a different genre, not being the genre of game they expected it to be, and 2, just complaining that the game is what they played before. I guess I don't understand that mindset. Because I played the game and I look at it and I go, okay, I know what the game is now.
Right.
But other people did the same thing. They play the game and then they come back to it when it's fully released and they play it and they go, well, this isn't what I wanted. It's like, you knew what it was. Yeah, then some people I saw some reviews of people like posting a negative review after refunding it, thinking that it was something that they could play waiting for Diablo 4. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people?
I mean, yeah, that's sort of a bad thing because
It's currently sitting at mixed reviews, and half the reviews on Steam right now are some sort of those 2 reviews.
that sucks.
And the rest of it is people that played it like I did that are like, some people are genuinely like, not the game I thought it was going to be. Or they're complaining about some jankiness to it, which there's a little bit. But I mean, not enough to justify some of the reviews I've seen.
Right.
And that feels bad for the publisher because the PC community with Steam and just the early access games that we've had for decades, for like over a decade now, has very much changed that mentality of alphas and betas because people are now very much used to that. Oh, this game's in early access. I'll buy it now or get into it now. And when I feel like messing with it and seeing it like full release, it's going to be this whole new, well-polished thing. Not necessarily AAA, but it'll be extremely well-polished and everything like that just because there's so many successful early access games after so much time, and that's sort of what has been sort of in people's minds been put into alpha and beta style things versus what those are traditionally supposed to be. As you said, John, alpha is very much core mechanics.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's where I was that's why I was getting mad when I was going through this the other day.
Right.
Is because the fact that there's early access and then there's alpha playtest.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't realize what that actually is nowadays.
It's like the problem is people, like you said, people like cross and think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not.
It's like if it's a playtest, they're gonna have it around for a little while. Like put the servers up, let people play it, and get your feedback from it. Make sure everything that they develop works before they just release it to the public.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in my mindset, when I hear an alpha, I go, okay, I'm going to go in this, and regardless of what I play, all of it may still be in come release, and none of it may be in by release.
Yeah. It's like you go into it and you're like, let's just see if the core gameplay is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing that Dark and Dark is doing.
Yeah.
Which it'll be back in a few weeks for its next playtest. But again, we all know it's a playtest. They're constantly changing things. But I guess it's just the difference of a game that's popular and everybody loves versus some of these smaller, more condensed like games that come out where they don't have a large community behind them. So people that are looking for something to fill whatever mood they're in pick it up, and then it's not what they thought it was.
A portion of that I could very much see people, if they are saying that they were going to play it till Diablo 4 comes out, is people seeing that game pop up in their recommended or something because it has similar tags the way they play, but don't actually pay attention and see whatever the price point was. Is it on a fairly cheaper price point?
It's $20 right now. It'll be $25 when it's off sale.
Gotcha. I could very much see someone buying it thinking it's that type of game because it shows them they're recommended with similar tags, just completely smooths over their survival crafting.
Well, that's the thing. There was a couple comments that are like, I guess, like to some of these negative threads, like in the reviews or in the discussion for it, and people complaining about it not being like a Path of Exile type game. Just a one-line reply. I guess this guy didn't look at the tags. And then just that kept getting posted. Everybody who then complained, people were just copying and pasting that as the reply to everywhere.
I mean, yeah, that is sort of bad for the developer because from what it sounds, it's a fairly interesting game, it seems like.
It's a fun game. It's a slow-paced kind of explore the world, gather your resources, and then when you finish the mission for each zone, because it is kind of like you go to a device, open up, load a zone in, and then you can explore that zone as much as you want to. And then when you leave it, that one's gone, and you can load another one up, and they're just procedurally generated with, they have predetermined or a set of goals to do on the map. So it may be like, go to this point and collect these materials, go fight this boss of the area, or something
cool.
like that. But
Sounds
then,
like something I could play until Nightingale.
yeah, and then but then the other part is explore the zone, gather the materials, so that when you go back to the hub world, you can do all your crafting and upgrading. And it is a fairly fun co-op game, because I was playing it co-op earlier. And the co-op with up to 4 players.
Ooh.
And the fun part about the co-op is if you're within a
Say that like we of us are gonna play that together.
Don't call me out like that.
That's not a call out just for you. That's for all of us.
But it's got the nice feature of like when you're playing co-op, if you're within a fairly close vicinity of the other person that's in the zone with you, whatever resource they're gathering, you just get.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's like if you're running around, like if you go to the opposite ends of the map, or if you get a couple screens away, it doesn't give it to, or you don't get each other's materials. But if you're staying fairly close together, then, or like traveling around looking for stuff, fighting enemies together and stuff like that, then yeah, you don't have to do like twice the looting. You just get the same stuff that they get, which is a nice touch.
That is very nice, honestly.
It makes it much more enjoyable to play co-op. Because otherwise you're just getting half the materials.
Right.
But it's like I was playing a co-op earlier, and it's fun. It's like I changed up my play style on it, because it's also a classless game. The skills that you have are determined by whatever type of weapon and gear that you put on. So if you put a warhammer on, you get like warhammer skills or you get like skills related to like attacking with your warhammer. If you put a sword on, you get that. Bows, you get abilities for the bow, and the same with different armor types. There's like hunter clothes, and each piece of the hunter gear gives you a different, like the dodge roll on the boots is different for like the armor versus leather versus cloth armor.
Gotcha.
And the same with like the chest pieces and that. And then like if you go with the full plate armor setup, you gain you get threat generation, so that enemies will come attack you.
So are there like actual dungeons in this?
Kind of, sort of.
Or just zone bosses?
There's like some zone bosses in it, and then each zone that you go into has like, they call them like little secret chests, but essentially it's it'll either be a chest that you can just find on the map that'll have like elite enemies around it, or there'll be like a little dungeon that you can go into and fight around. But as far as like a traditional dungeon in games, not really so far.
Okay.
It's like in higher tier stuff, there may be more of something like that, or it may just be higher tier zones, because it does have distinct zones as well. There's like the forest zone. If you go to like the ice areas, you have to have a cloak for heat, like a cloak to keep you warm, or you have to light a fire to keep your body temp up.
Gotcha.
And like if you go to a toxic zone, you got to have a gas mask. But if you're running around in the poison and that, the gas, you only have so much that you can fill up in the gas mask, and then it has different levels to it where you start getting incapacitated.
Okay.
So it's a fairly interesting game, but it's also a slow paced kind of grindy game.
Gotcha.
Which I think is part of the reason people were giving it negative reviews. They're looking for a fast paced action game, and this is not that.
All right.
Okay. I guess now we can hit stuff with Ubisoft for a few minutes, chat about that. Because we already chatted about it once before, a while ago, because there was the reports that I think was it Tencent that was going to potentially buy Ubisoft, and they backed out. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the possible, I think. I don't know if that was a definite or more or less a rumor we had talked about back at the time.
I think it was just a rumor. But the bottom line is Ubisoft has been begging someone to buy them for a while. Like, I mean, that's just because they have not been in a good position for a long time. So while this has already been a previously talked about like news piece, the most recent pieces from it is basically Ubisoft coming out and saying how, which this is just stupid to me on Ubisoft's part, but saying how Sparks of Hope underperformed in sales. But like the truth of the matter is, it did well for the game for what it is. You know, it sold more than Kingdom Battle. You know, it sold what you would expect Sparks of Hope to sell. But for some reason, Ubisoft's thinking it's about to be like a fucking Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, Ubisoft, baby, what are you doing?
I'm gonna be honest, they didn't really market it that hard either.
Nintendo did a decent job at it. But
Nintendo did, but Ubisoft didn't.
Exactly. Like, I don't know what they were expecting out of Sparks of Hope for it to be. Like, the way that they put it, essentially, is they were really thinking it was going to be like an unbelievable millions and millions and millions of unit seller.
I don't know how. It's a very niche style.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Tactics XCOM clone with a Mario skin on it.
Exactly. Now, I will say they also
on the Switch.
Well, there's a lot of units to Switch out there, so, I mean, they also did talk about how Just Dance 2023 did underperform, too. I mean, I could see them having a little bit higher expectations
Which
for that.
Which Just Dance is this?
2023.
I mean, it's Just Dance.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. But I mean, I can see where they think that it could have a little bit higher expectations, based on just the history of the game, because it's always sold very well across the board. But then also with this whole, just how the sales have been down and everything, 3 unannounced projects have been canceled outright. Not happening. Skull and Bones delayed once again, but they released 30 minutes of gameplay today. I didn't watch it, but woo, man. But delayed once again. Don't know when that's coming out now. And then also with all of this,
I can only hope at this point Skull and Bones is just going to be a giant pirate simulator.
That's basically what it is at this point.
I did see. I think I saw a comment. It may have been a comment or it may have been part of the article. When they announced it was delayed, where they were like something along the lines of players will be surprised with how drastic some of the changes have been.
Yeah, I did see that. I'm
just
okay, if you say so.
I'm like, man, you better hope so, because what you showed us before was nothing.
Exactly.
You showed us collecting some iron by going next to a mountain.
Yeah. The current head of Ubisoft, I don't remember his name. He basically sent out an email to the entire Ubisoft team across the board. He sent it in a way that's meant to be like a rah speech, whatever. But it came off as him being a prick, essentially, where he basically is just like telling the devs to turn around their fortunes, right, and deliver the games to the quality that that is expected of Ubisoft. But here's the thing, though. Like, besides the exception of Skull and Bones being a complete dumpster fire, they don't have bad quality games.
No.
That's not the problem.
No,
the problem is upper management.
Yeah, it's upper management, and then also they've been
There's one massive problem, and this comes from the upper management aspect of things. Ubisoft has been so desperate for their version of a Fortnite or an Apex. They want that free-to-play game that's going to continuously get revenue, because we've seen it. They've released like 4, I think, free-to-play games that have all flopped. There was the Hypercharge. I think Ghost Recon had one, and I can't remember the other 2. But they've released 4 different free-to-play games trying to get a game that has like this reoccurring revenue and just continuously get money nonstop. And that's what they're trying to do now with like potentially Far Cry. I remember there was a rumor we plugged a while ago where Far Cry could potentially go in that direction. And then there's Assassin's Creed Infinity, which is essentially just like a central hub that has all the games access to play, but that's going to be a free-to-play thing, again, because they're trying to get that. They're trying to get their Fortnite. They're trying to get their Apex, where they just get money nonstop, and they keep failing at it. That's the problem.
Well, the thing about that is just they ruined it before they even really tried, because they started within their Assassin's Creed games by putting in the boosters and other nonsense that made, and then like Origins. Origins was pretty bad, because in Origins, there was the first one that started the whole new RPG setup, where with gear and item levels and whatnot. And there's a whole mid game in Origins where it was almost impossible to level and move forward in the game without buying boosters from the real world currency shop,
right?
Which would make,
I actually didn't know that since I didn't get far in Origins.
Yes, that it's gone now.
Okay,
the grind is still pretty fucking terrible.
Hell,
but it's not as nearly as bad as when the game came out, because it made the middle portion of the game impossible, because you would have to literally spend days grinding shit to finish off the main story and whatnot. or you could have bought a booster for anywhere from $10 to $20, and it would make it much more manageable. You'd still spend a couple days on it, but it was much more doable.
It was the fact that they did the classic thing that some companies do, or some games do, not necessarily some companies, where your main story goes to a certain point and then there's a massive jump between story missions and level.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, now I have to go do side stuff that I didn't necessarily want to do. So it's the combination of I didn't necessarily want to go around grinding these side missions, but now I have to. And it just takes so long because of how big the gap was between it. And then because I know for a while, like, even when they kind of took some of that stuff away, when they added like their own like dungeon maker and stuff like that, people were just basically making EXP farms for that part of the game specifically. So that when you loaded into if you found the mission, it would just basically you would walk into it, the enemies would die, and you just get a chunk of XP.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's other projects as well that they've been working on that are at this point honestly might not come out, like Sands of Time remake. Like I'm hearing reports right now that game may not even come out at this point, which would be very unfortunate. I really would like that to come out and hopefully be good. And I've got a lot of nostalgia for that game for a few different reasons, but the Ubisoft has been in this place for a while, and there's with some upcoming titles, they're clearly trying to make some changes here and there. Because I know, the upcoming Assassin's Creed Mirage is more traditional Assassin's Creed. They're going kind of back to their roots, what they kind of became known for, right? And, who knows what the next Far Cry title will look like. It'll just be Far Cry, though. You know how that goes.
I'm going to say it again. They part of the problem with Ubisoft games is because what are the last, like, top-of-the-line, big-selling Ubisoft games?
Rainbow Six Siege.
It's like Rainbow Six Siege.
Probably, yeah.
And then like the biggest Assassin's Creed game recently is probably Valhalla. With how much content and support it's had after the fact.
True.
But the problem is,
which people are angry about it. It's just because of how damn long the game is.
Yep.
Well, it's because they finally had a game that started selling, so they started trying to milk it.
Yep.
But part of the problem is people don't necessarily want to buy the Ubisoft game, and this is where I said I'm gonna say it again. They make the same formulaic game every time.
Copy paste.
It's because it's like how vastly different have the Far Cry games been?
Besides Primal, not really.
It's like
I was about to say 3 hit the formula,
it
and
did.
they just ran with it.
Yep,
it's like
and
they
never looked back.
They found their formula for here's your points on the map. Go do these towers. Go hit your major points on the map, and then gonna progress in whatever way you see fit, really. And they just modeled every game they made after it.
Yeah.
For the most part, I'll throw that in there.
Because Far Cry is about the villain and their story more than the gameplay. Just going to be honest.
But but it's like that formula that they had for it popped off, and then like a lot of their games kind of had that same formulaic approach to it.
Yeah.
And then to the point where it's like when a Ubisoft game comes out, you kind of have a general idea of what the game is or what the gameplay is going to be, unless they show something specifically different.
Yeah.
So
And that also applies to just having the mindset for what that Avatar game could be. We know nothing about it other than that they're doing it, but you can go ahead and safely assume it's going to copy paste the same formula that Assassin's Creed and Far Cry has. It's just what they do.
It's like you said, they're looking for their own free to play game. They're also looking for their new. They either have to change something up with their central game design with it, or they're just looking for a big enough franchise to slap the skin on it to sell a bunch of copies.
Yeah.
I mean, because they even tried it with Siege, because Siege had its one PvE event, which actually was very well received. So they started working on Extraction, and it was a year or so a bit too late.
Right.
Supposedly Extraction still has a player base, but I haven't messed with it. So.
Oh, okay. I guess your prediction on that wasn't completely wrong.
I guess not.
Yeah, we'll chalk that as not a loss for you. So, and now the last point about this that I was kind of wanting you boys' take on is where do you guys think Ubisoft is going to go from here? Because obviously there was the talks of them just being outright purchased.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's been the recent talks that Ubisoft's been going around to similar sized publishing companies trying to do a merge, to which they get laughed at for what they were asking for. They were getting laughed out of the room essentially. Do you guys think that they're gonna end up making them? It's like in my mind, it's A, B, C, or D. It's are they gonna actually pull off getting a merge with someone? Are they gonna get bought outright by someone bigger? Are they gonna somehow figure it out on their own, or none of the above?
I mean, at this point with Ubisoft and how they're slowly going, if they don't get purchased, I just see, unfortunately, Ubisoft just getting a slow death.
Over years and years.
Yes,
Yeah.
and just IPs getting worse or having to be sold to other groups.
I'm of a fairly similar opinion. I think at this point in time, I think Ubisoft, I think they need to be purchased. But the problem is they have the mindset of we're Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Which
They need to get humbled.
I'd say 6-7 years ago
Fair.
held weight.
Yeah.
These
fair
days
opinion.
with how their past few years have been, it's like you get a banger here and there, and you
Yep.
have some good like ongoing games, but for the most part, you're not putting out banger after banger that everyone's excited for.
Because for the few games that are still have player bases and they're still getting money off, there's of course Siege.
Mhm.
For Honor's still actually doing fairly okay.
Is it?
I see.
I didn't know that.
I don't think it has the largest player base, but it has a dedicated.
It has a
group
very
of
solid
players.
community.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that they're.
That's cool.
I
Shout out to
believe they're
For Honor.
they're still giving updates and stuff.
Yeah,
to
because
it.
Shout out to
Because
For
it
Honor.
just got
That's
a
cool.
pretty decent update too.
Yeah, I saw that fairly recently.
Right on. Shout out to that. I didn't know that. That's
So
cool.
like their closest games they have for free moneymaker games would be Siege and For Honor. It's just they haven't made them free
yeah.
or at a low enough
But-
price point that would really
They also have Division.
Yeah.
right.
They have
Division.
Division and
Which is
Division
their
2,
MMO.
which
Mhm.
Division 2, from what I understand, is
It's still doing good.
it's still doing pretty good. It seemed like there was a little rocky patch, but they had an expansion that made everyone happy for the most
I was
part.
gonna say, I think the only thing is I don't think Division 2 is getting any like big expansions.
I don't think they're doing anything
They just
with
have
it, but
balance and quality of life updates at this point.
But I mean, I feel like that's part of their Ubisoft's problem. Is
Yeah.
they because when Division 2 came out, that was back when with like around the time of like Destiny 2 and stuff
Yeah.
like that, where all of these games were coming out, and every game had a rough launch and was getting talked about for how bad it was. Meanwhile, Division 2 was over there just plowing along, no issues.
I just remember that.
It just had a seamless launch,
Yeah.
and they just never found a way to capitalize it. Because if they could have capitalized that, they could have a massive player base and still making expansions or making a new game for it or something. But you don't ever hear about it
Right.
because they don't
They don't
actively
market
pursue.
it very well.
They don't pursue what's doing well in the background. They release it and they're like, they'll be content until we give them something else. Meanwhile, that's their best community.
Right.
All I remember from Division was Dark Zones are a bitch, and you could block everyone from playing the game if you just did jumping jacks in front of a door.
Mhm. Now, let me ask you guys this, because I was thinking about this earlier. In terms of like them just getting bought outright, would you guys be shocked if at some point, didn't have to be this year, maybe 2024, Sony buys them outright?
I would say I would expect Sony to.
Because that's kind of my thought. Because like I feel like in terms of interests, I feel like their interests are in line. Sony also
Yeah.
wants their own free to play big title and stuff. So I mean, I feel like interest wise, like they're in line there.
Sony makes the most sense.
Yeah, it does.
Or Epic comes in and sweeps them up for all that Fortnite.
I feel like Epic's just trying to quietly do their thing. At
They,
this
Epic's
point.
just doing everything they really
really
want.
are. They're
They're,
vibing.
they're just like, you know what? We're not gonna cause a ruckus anymore. We're gonna do our stuff over here, and you guys just whatever you want to do.
We got Fortnite. We're good.
right.
Yeah, I mean Sony would make the most sense out of just process of elimination because Microsoft's still stuck trying to get Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Now the thing is, Microsoft could buy Ubisoft as well if they wanted to.
They could. They very much could.
But I think they're content on focusing on this one.
I have a feeling that it's like they probably thought about it.
They
but
probably
I
made a
could,
call.
I
Maybe.
could see them sitting there going, "Let Sony have them," so they calm down a bit.
True.
It's funny. There was actually an article to something I said the other day that 2 other groups actually came in and brought in details about worrying about the Microsoft purchase. I forget which 2 groups now off the top of my head, but it was an article about 2 other companies coming to the table to join Sony for that whole discussion. But yeah, if anyone would buy Ubisoft, possibly Sony right offhand, Microsoft could, but I think they'd want to. I would think they would want to mess with, try and finish up their Activision Blizzard bullshit.
I agree, especially since it keeps getting delayed.
You know, it'd be funny if like some of these companies like come to back up Sony, and then Microsoft just at the table and go, I mean, if you want, we can buy you too, and then you can.
I mean, we have the cash.
It's
Like,
like-
we're ready to go.
It's like all the companies backing Sony just slowly become part of the Microsoft army.
Yeah. No, I mean we'll keep tracking this and see what happens. Ubisoft just seems to be in a really rough spot, and I will be curious, what some of those unannounced projects were that got canceled. At this point, I mean Ubisoft, they need Mirage to be a very solid seller. I imagine they're putting a lot of money on Avatar being good. Ubisoft also have now a new Star Wars game in development. They're probably hoping on that one's going to be good too.
See, the weird thing is, it's like Ubisoft is like slowly bleeding out.
It is.
It
yeah.
is.
It's
Like
what he said, slow
They've been
death.
slowly bleeding out and kind of like falling. Like their stock's been falling.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when I say stock, I'm not talking like actual stock, although I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh no, their stock took a massive
Oh,
plummet
yeah.
after this week.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised by that. But
Yeah.
just like but like they still think they're on top of the
I know.
world.
I know,
But
that's
it's,
what's wild.
It's weird to see the decisions they've made. Like they're so invested in Mirage.
I know.
They're like, we're gonna make this hub for Assassin's Creed where you can go to whichever one.
Oh, you mean Infinity?
Or yeah,
Yeah,
Infinity
okay,
or whatever.
okay.
Infinity. It's like they have all that. They have Mirage that they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I had those backward there. Yeah, they have Infinity. They have Mirage. They're focusing so hard on like their like these weird projects, and it's like, why are you killing everything off for the weird stuff no one's asking for?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're sacrificing everything else for what you think is gonna work. Meanwhile, everyone's telling you, we don't know about that, but why'd you cancel this?
Right. I don't know. Yeah, Ubisoft slowly bleeding out is the best way to put it. It's unfortunate too, but at this point, I just hope Sony's just sweep in and just buy them. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Everyone will enjoy that. All right, let's just get to the last. This is not really a talking point. It was just going to be a quick question I wanted to throw out there. And again, it's because we had a slow week, honestly, in terms of stuff popping out. But since this is Gamesthetic episode 117, I thought I'd just propose the quick question to you boys. Single favorite memory in Halo. It can be literally anything, just campaign related, LAN parties, just online, whatever. Campaign moment. Single favorite
online matchmaking Halo 3 moment is teaming with Zach.
Here we go.
We had a match. I think we were down by like 3 or 4 kills in one map.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the name of the map.
It was the one with the windmill and the beach.
Yeah, it's the one with the beach, windmill, and then it's like
It's on Halo 3.
base.
I know. God, what is it?
I can't remember the name of it, but like Zach like ran up and traded with a guy who was up on the stairs there, who was like holding the sniper. I come in right after they trade, pull it out, and I hear him say like 6 seconds or something, and I just like every other member in the game is down below me, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, reload, 4 more shots, and then we're at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, he literally went 1 kill per second.
That's incredible.
It was just like the last few seconds, like super tight, close knit game. Like every team is about to win. We're
yeah, that
down.
was a very rough
It's like we were
session.
down, and it was just like it was it was just like, because sometimes you have those moments, especially in like the weird game modes, like multi-team and that, where you can go from like, this is a mediocre game to like the biggest pop off moment.
Yes.
And that was just one of the that moment has stuck with me just for like how perfect everything lined up.
Right. What about you? Did you have something you want to throw out there?
I mean, probably one of my moments is just first land doing fucking invisible zombies with rocket launchers.
Oh yeah,
that was dumb as shit.
Yeah. If we're talking like campaign, one that's always stuck out to me was the introduction to the flood. I think that's a lot of people that mission, and once you get in there, that sticks out to them. But if we're talking like single favorite memory, this one just permanently just stays burned into my brain. And I just text him, so I hope he's listening right now. Me, you, and Jared.
I know it. I think I know what you're gonna say this.
Yeah, me, you, and Jared playing Team SWAT.
Jared had it rough, man.
And Jared trying so hard to get to whatever he was trying to get. Was it a 30 or a 40?
I think it was a 40.
It was a 40. Trying so hard to get that damn 40. And Halo, if you like, obviously if you're listening right now and you didn't get to experience Halo 3's matchmaking in its heyday, that match, like the ranking,
it made no sense.
It was so stupid because you could win 5, 6, 7 games in a row and not rank up one time, but lose one and lose a rank. Like, it's so dumb. So like me and John,
we could play for an entire night, play like 25 games or something, and like win 18 of 25 or something.
Yeah.
And you would be 4 ranks lower than you started.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like the single memory is like me, you, and Jared were trying to grind. Me and you, like we had like a higher SWAT rank because just been playing it with him, but we didn't really care as much about our SWAT. It was mostly Jared wanting to get his 40, and we're trying to help him get there. And we would lose, we would win like 5, 6 games in a row. He would not go up. We'd lose one, he'd go down. We'd lose 5, 6 more. He would go back up to what he was. And then the single moment that sticks out to me was after he got back up, we won X amount of games more. We lost one more. He goes down and he rages so hard. We hear him rage. We hear him throw the controller, and then I don't remember what his gamer tag was at the time. And then it just like shows him that he leaves the party. I mean, John, I'm just like, is he okay? It's like, all right, well, you want to go play doubles or something? Yeah, sure, whatever. That will always be probably my favorite moment of Halo. It's just so damn funny to me.
Yeah. Just quick secondary one here. It was just the amount of times you could be playing a game with some like random people.
Yeah.
Or like you'd be in there and then you start getting messages being like, yo, let's it's like join my party afterwards or something. And because it's like you may be popping off one game and then suddenly everyone in the lobby is like, hey, custom game. No way this is legit. And I remember one time getting into this happened multiple times, but in specific on one occasion, like 3 people were playing together and they challenged me to like a 1v3 custom game, King of the Hill. Because like the game we had played previously, like I had like 70% of the kills on it or something, just had a good game. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. We could do that. And then it's like, so they come rushing in on the hill. Meanwhile, I've just gone grab sniper, Spartan laser.
Mm-hmm.
I've got grenades and shit stacked up. And I pick them all off, go sit in the hill, get my time right above theirs, leave. They come back in. And it's like they don't know where I've gone. Snipe them again.
Right.
Go back in there. I'm like, it's like I'm in a party with them too. And they're raging so hard at me. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, it's a 1v3. You think I'm gonna sit in the hill the whole time?
Right.
You know, you saying that does remind me of one memory of us playing duos in Halo 3. Because it was King of the Hill on, I think it was a Guardian. It's the one that had the giant tree stump in the center.
Yeah.
And I just remember, for some reason, there just being a bloodbath in the center of it because the hill was in the center. Someone threw a bubble shield. And the bastard also had a sword. And it was a fucking free-for-all of people not caring go again. Someone murders the sword guy, picks up the sword, murders someone else murders him, and it's literally just the sword trading until there was literally just one person left.
It's like eight people in the lobby. It starts with one guy with a sword, and the 8th person is the one who ends up with the sword in the hill, standing victorious.
Yep. I'll definitely say another one that really sticks out to me, and I'm sure you can relate with it, is I think we manage to do it. I can recall 2 times, and I think that was it. But massive shout out to Jared's parents for hooking us up for a couple of my birthdays when they were, ahead of a apartment complex where they let us use the party room overnight. So for literally all night long, we just had. God, dude, how many TVs did we have set up? We had like probably 5 or 6 TVs set up down there. Like probably like 74 freaking 12 packs of soda, and just having a great time playing Halo 3 all night. That one definitely. The LAN parties, man. Those are top tier.
Halo 3, funny connection here. Halo 3, how I met him.
Correct.
I only met him because he was called in. It's like I was hanging out with one of our friends in high school. And he called Alex in to go get me Halo 3 skulls.
Yep. Oh, man. Shout out to Halo, man. Shout out to Halo. One day, hopefully, it'll be, back to what it was.
Nope.
Probably not. But then,
Those days are
Those
gone.
days are, I know, but I'm going to hang on
He
to
just
hope.
told a story about how randos invited him to a custom and he said yes.
I know. Yeah, those days are gone.
They challenged me to a 1v3 and stayed while I was winning.
Yeah, those days are gone. Any last thoughts you want to throw out there with memories of Halo, or ready to hit the weekly wrap up and get out of here?
I'm good.
I'm good too.
I'll go ahead and call it because it's like they keep coming back.
Oh man, Jared, I hope you listened. Shout out to your 40 that you never got. All right, let's hit the weekly wrap up. Let's get out of here. All right, so the first thing, there is an Xbox Bethesda showcase set for this month on the 25th. The focus is Forza, Redfall, Minecraft Legends, and ESO. Starfield was also confirmed to be getting its own single showcase later on, as I would expect. I was also seeing some rumored release dates for Redfall. I think I was seeing May 2nd was a release date I was seeing.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. So if it's May 2nd, that still tells me Starfield's later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because coming in this year, Todd Howard and stuff said like Q1, Q2. But, if Redfall's coming out in May, which was kind of like the potential targeted release of Starfield, I'm sticking to my prediction. I think Starfield got slapped with a full year delay. I think it's coming out in November. At least that's my opinion. But anyway, with that rumor, I was also seeing a lot of rumors that GoldenEye that they announced is said to come at the end of January. That still is yet to release. I don't know the deal on that. I don't know who's waiting on what, because obviously this is a joint thing with Nintendo and Microsoft. So I don't know who's waiting on who. If we're being very real, it's probably Nintendo is causing the problems.
No.
It's probably Nintendo.
It's probably actually whoever has the license to freaking James 007.
Well, no, I mean, in terms of that game, from everything I've seen, believe it or not, they've completely 50-50 split that.
Really?
They both completely, and that's why it's always been a problem about getting it re-released. It's because Nintendo, the reason why it's been so tough to get re-released is because Nintendo has wanted to distance itself from it because it was banned in a couple countries, I think. But now that it's not banned anymore, now Nintendo, we made the big announcement that it's coming back. It's going to come to, the NSO expansion pack, where that's the only way to play the multiplayer. It will not be available when it comes to Xbox on Game Pass. So you see what I mean? Nintendo's the one that's probably delaying the fact that it hasn't come out, because they probably want to announce the release date themselves in a direct that God knows when the direct's going to happen. So we'll see when that comes out. The other thing I wanted to plug here, because I've seen it a lot recently on Twitter, and I just think it's kind of cool, is that Christopher Judge is pushing very hard to try to get the opportunity to play Kratos in the Amazon TV show.
So is everybody if you see any poll where it's like, who do you want for Kratos in the live action
Judge.
Christopher
series?
Judge.
It's like Christopher Judge, 98%, and next famous celebrity,
which would be Batista. Batista is the other name that's being linked right now to Kratos, because even Christopher Judge, quote tweeted one of the articles talking about Batista potentially being talked to about Kratos. He even tagged Batista. He's like, yeah, Batista's cool, but I'm just like, Christopher Judge, keep shooting your shot, man. Keep shooting your shot. I'm gonna hold on to hope that it's gonna happen. Still talking about in the TV series realm, Last of Us, which actually comes out tomorrow on the 15th. Apparently, it came in at 100% on the critic rating. It's being said as like a flawless video game adaptation.
How do we feel about critic ratings?
I don't fucking trust them.
Neither do
See,
I.
I don't either, but like there are some reviewers that I do trust that are saying this as well. Because one that I really like to watch, mostly for his horror content, is Cody Leach, and he got early access to the full show, and he did a non-spoiler review on the full first season, and he himself called it a flawless video game adaptation. Which that's I will tell you, from someone who's watched Cody Leach for like the last 4 or 5 years, that's strong words coming from him, because he is very harsh with all of his reviews. I'm just not a huge Last of Us fan still. Like, it's okay. I don't think
it's
it's
shit about Last of Us. I'll check out the show to see if it's any good.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it, but like, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm gonna check it out. I may tune into it tomorrow, but I don't know. Next thing, I just want to plug this. It just seems kind of silly. Apparently, having your PS5 vertical is apparently bad for the console. The reason why, the liquid metal around one of the chips can leak out onto the board. This has happened to people. Apparently, it's a very, 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 very low chance of happening, but it can happen, and it has happened to people. But it's like a low percentage of people it's happened to. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. I wanted to plug that out there. There is also a rumor that with that detachable disk drive that's coming for the new PS5 Slim model that we know is coming at some point, apparently it will not work with the current digital version console.
I mean, makes sense.
It does, yeah. Bandai Namco has now delayed the current gen version of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot for Xbox Series due to a bug failing to load the player's save data.
Iron Man mode. One shot, one go. You die, it's done, buddy.
Basically. Yeah, I saw a couple people post this up on Twitter where they were trying to play the game again just for shits and gigs, but it wouldn't load their data, and now Bandai's just completely outright delayed the Xbox version of the upgrade. So it's just kind of a weird situation, you know what I mean? It's very odd. And the last thing,
I'm gonna be honest, I would keep that. That'd be a heck of a game.
yeah. The last thing, and I want to throw this out there because I mean it looks so cool, is Super Nintendo World at Universal Hollywood has had its soft opening and letting in limited guests for technical testing. I've seen all the photos and I've seen the videos of like the queues and everything for like the Mario Kart ride and stuff, and the Bowser, whatever the Bowser one is. It all looks so cool, and I can't wait for the Super Nintendo World to open in Orlando, where I normally go. But yeah, just go online, look up some pictures and videos for it. It looks very, very cool. I'm excited to go to the Orlando one sooner or later, whenever that gets finished. I think it's set to finish 2025. I think it's set to open, which is pretty exciting. I know for some of the parks down there now, they've got some new rides opening this year, like the Tron ride is opening at Magic Kingdom this year in a couple months. There's another new ride that's set to open, I think, here in a couple months as well. Then like a couple new expansions, like they have the Moana stuff set to open up at some point. The Guardians of the Galaxy stuff opened last year, and that was very, very cool. So really excited for the Super Nintendo World to open up. We do have a question here. What is our opinion on Genshin Impact? It's good for what it is.
Anyone played Genshin?
I played it when it came out, but I didn't get very far. It's very good for what it is.
I don't know what it is.
So, okay, let's run through. It is a gacha game with a heavy emphasis on free roaming quests where you just go beat up on things and collect stuff, and then you hit up dungeons, in dungeons you control up to 4 characters, I believe. I haven't played it since it came out either, so it may have changed a bit. And then there's element types and all that fun stuff. So it's a weird dungeon crawler in my mind, is how I picture it.
Yeah, I've heard about it a lot. All I knew was it's a gacha game, or it's kind of a gacha game.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't personally know anything else about it. But I mean, based on the reviews and the fact that it's always nominated for awards, that's it.
I mean, I think it's
People
something
like it.
I think it's something you would dabble into, John. I don't think it would keep you because it is very much it has its whole open world and several maps now where you can just roam around and get tons of quests for doing stuff and just pretty much anywhere in the map. And
Is there a way to earn the gacha stuff without paying for it?
Yes. I don't know how
John's.
I don't know how it is now. It
don't-
was a slight grind for specific achievements and certain quests back when the game originally came out.
I played mobile idle, like PvP ranked
Correct.
games, free to play in a pay to win game, and competed on the ladder.
Yeah. But I mean, I haven't played it since it came out. I mean, I enjoyed it at the time. The dungeons were fairly simple but entertaining. That was how I enjoyed dungeon crawling. So
That's fair. That's fair. Like I said, I think it's good for what it is. I did not play enough to actually give an opinion. I played like maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours tops.
I put in like a week.
No, yeah. So I mean, it's like I said, for looking from the outside in, it's good for what it is. So, last thoughts, anything that we chat about here today?
Well, I played Metal Hellslinger.
Oh, how's that?
That's a fun game.
Is it? Okay, good.
Yeah, I feel like that's more yours. I tried to play it too, and I was like, not me.
So here's the bad thing, because it is very much a rhythm game.
Yeah.
You can play it without rhythm. It's just going to take forever.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Because that's how I played it.
Because I did not focus on anything actually happening on the screen besides the tempo marks. I did fantastic. I mean, overall, it's a fun game. It is very much, you can see the line of people because it's on Game Pass, because I went through the achievements and like for beating the first boss of the first level is like 26% completed. For the second boss of the second level, 12% completed.
Well, it also makes you feel bad afterwards, because when you finish the mission, it gives you a score and then ranks you against everyone else who played it.
You're right. Yeah, it does
Yeah.
do that.
And when I see myself down on that list, I didn't feel great. Because I was already playing through it going, man, this is taking me way longer than it should have.
I mean, it was fun to me. I enjoy rhythm games, though.
No, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'm still dabbling in Ancestors right now. That game is so freaking fascinating, man. There is so much to that game, and it doesn't tell you anything at all. You really just need to figure it out, and that's what I actually really like that about it. So, like, I've already now discovered that the current run that I'm doing,
It's screwed.
I've already fucked it, yeah. So I'm just using this run to learn to really get down, trying to kill something else. That's all I'm trying to learn right now. Before I start a new one, I want to be able to make sure I can actually fight back. Because fuck those Sabertooths, man. Those Sabertooths, I mean, they literally spawn out of nowhere. Like they don't come up. You can't smell for them. You can't sense them. You can't hear for them. They do literally just spawn out of nowhere, depending on where you're walking. There's another type of cat that you can find that's just chilling out in the wild. You'll see it sleeping and get aggressive and shit. But this is the normal Sabertooth. Nope. I literally got to witness it just pop up and just come up behind me. I'm like, oh, you son of a bitch. So I'm trying to learn how to kill right now. That's my current mission before I restart. Because I got into a situation where I got to experience my second set of a meteor shower, which by the way was horrifying the second time. The first time it was very like it's scripted, so it's just like one boom done. You see your monkey freak out, you got to go get it. Now the second time that it happened to me, you see animals running, you see multiple meteors falling from the sky, shit exploding. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? And I'm sitting here trying to go get this meteorite, and I get trapped by a Sabertooth, and I'm up on a tree, and I'm bleeding, and there's nowhere else I can jump to, and all I can do is let my monkey freak out where he goes in hysteria mode, which then is an automatic teleport back to camp. There was nothing. I was so far away from camp too. I got ballsy, but the game is very, very fun. It is pretty difficult though, but in a very fun way.
Yeah. So up until Gatewalkers came out, I've just been playing Soulstone Survivors all week.
Yeah, I've seen you popping on that as well.
That game is just incredibly fun.
Right.
It's like that, Vampire Survivors. Those games are they're so addicting.
Yeah. I feel that. Ancestors is very addicting, but is not a game to play if you want to relax. I will tell you that. You are on edge the entire time.
I've just been on Soulstone. Like every time I'm loaded up, I'm like, let's see how many achievements I can get in this run.
Right. All right. Any other last thoughts? Am I good to hit the music?
You're good.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. If you're watching this live wherever, please hit subscribe if you've stayed with us this long. It does help out. Thank you very much. Bye.
All right, do everything he said and more. And if you are watching it live or have watching it after the fact, then come check out our YouTube channels and various socials that Alex has been posting different clips and stuff too. And hopefully you'll come and see us next week. We stream live about Saturday Central at about 6 p.m.
And then next week, of course, we do have Fire Emblem Engage, which very, very excited for. But yeah, do everything they said, including check us out at our website, sparky3.com. You can sign up for free or sign up $5 a month, and we'd appreciate that
Not
extra
just me.
support. Yeah, not just you to hear today. But then also make sure to go check out some Rogue Energy and get the Black Cherry Lemonade cans. Use our referral link down below and promo code SPARKY3 to get 10% off. Join the Discord. Check out Agent Ink for some sick-ass jerseys. Till next time, guys, have a good one. See ya.